Is Kaylee, and today I'm going to be reviewing the application Class Dojo. So, what is Class Dojo? Class Dojo is a communication platform used by schools, and teachers, students, and families are able to build communities within their classrooms. So, this app is for grades K to 12, and teachers are able to share info and activities that happen within the classroom back to parents and families at home. And it was created in August of 2011. In 2012, it launched to iOS and it went international. This app is certainly free. However, Class Dojo Plus is a subscription that schools or teachers can pay for. It's $59.99 per year and just adds some additional features. So it doesn't take, you don't have less access to features if you don't have the subscription. The subscription basically just adds on a bunch of stuff. So, for example, the Big Ideas feature, which I'll go into later, it adds a few more lessons in that. It is certainly not necessary to use all aspects of the app, and honestly, I feel like most teachers probably wouldn't need to pay for the subscription. And Class Dojo is not integrated with other apps. It basically is a standalone app. It has a bunch of different features for classroom management, so there's really no need to integrate it with other apps. So here is a video I found basically introducing what Class Dojo is. So that's basically the gist of it. I felt like it was a good idea to add the video because it shows some visuals of the features that Class Dojo has. Oops. Okay, so now I'm going to dive into some of the features. So the classroom feature basically builds culture through giving students points, and they're able to share feedback and progress with each other. So as you can see, I'm pointing to the points that each student and what the whole class has. Teachers are able to give points based on if they're on task, if the students are showing empathy towards others, and basically the teacher can add whatever kind of skills they want to add points for. And so the kids are able to compete with each other for how many points they have. And one way that I'd use this in my classroom is when they reach a certain amount of points, I will offer them to cash in their points for some prizes. For example, maybe for the whole class, they could get extra recess time, or for particular students, they could have lunch with a teacher, and so forth. As for the stories are where teachers can update streams of pictures and videos from the school day and share what's being learned in the class. The students can also have their own profiles as well, and it allows them to share pride in their schoolwork. And students are even able to upload things to their own profiles as well. Here is a little visual of a classroom story that the teacher posted about students loving art class today, and the parents, as you can see, can even like the picture, and you can see how many people the picture was seen by. And I just think that's a great idea because parents are always wondering what their students are doing in class, and sometimes the students don't always have the answers, but this allows them to do that. So I would definitely use this feature if I were to use it in my classroom. And I think I'd have the students create their own profiles as well, because that gives them ownership over their work. As for the messages, this is basically kind of explanatory, but teachers, parents, and school leaders can instantly message each other. It's just a way for them to message rather than giving out phone numbers or other personal information. And one feature that I thought was really cool is the quiet hours, and I would definitely use this in my classroom. Maybe just set aside like time, maybe an hour before and after school, in addition to the hours in school. Those would be the hours that I would have parents be able to message me, and then maybe towards the end of the night have those be my quiet hours. And I think that's a great way for teachers to set boundaries within their work and life balance. So the Big Ideas feature is basically a set of online lessons that teachers can give their students, and they're all about different social emotional skills. So as you can see, one of the big ideas is growth mindset. It starts off with a video, gives students some prompting questions, and then it's just a whole little online lesson that students can have. And so as I was saying before, the Class Dojo Plus subscription basically would add on a bunch of different big ideas, but obviously not completely necessary to have in the app. So another important feature that I thought was really cool is the toolkit. This features a timer, random student generator, a group maker, a noise meter, some music that the students could use to work with. I already went over the timer. And then this today feature is basically a morning message maker. It shows the date, the time, and you can even write a little message or even give directions to students for an activity. So I would definitely use pretty much all of these features in the toolkit when I'm in the classroom. I think the timer is super beneficial because it gives students enough time to work, but it can show them like, oh, it'll help with transitions basically. So if students are working on one thing, you'd say, okay, 3-minute timer, and then we're going to switch to another topic or something like that. The noise meter, I think that's super cool because obviously noise control is a big issue in most classrooms. So you could say as the teacher, like, okay, when you start to see the red line in the noise meter, that means we're too loud and we need to quiet down, things like that. So yeah, that's just some ways I'd use that in my classroom. Okay, so here are some pros and cons of Class Dojo. I found a bunch of pros. So it eases classroom management for the teacher. Basically, this is an all-in-one for classroom management. Like, I feel like there's not many other features I would even add to Class Dojo because it basically has everything. It boosts positive reinforcement through like the student points, and it also builds community and communication with parents, families, and students. I think sharing with parents what's going on inside the classroom really helps to build strong relationships with the parents, and they're much more likely to be excited that their child's learning so much in the classroom. You can even, I think another good way I would use Class Dojo is I would message parents if their student did something really well that day in class, because I think sometimes teachers get caught up in the negatives, but showcasing the positives to parents I think is super necessary. And the students can also show off what they do in school and upload things to their portfolio and whatnot. And these are just a couple cons that I found. Student points could be discouraging to those students that find it more difficult to gain points for being on task and stuff. Maybe they have certain learning disabilities, but I think it also, on the flip side, could be a good motivator for those students to want to have more points. And another con I found was having to pay more for features with Class Dojo Plus could get pricey over time, but as I mentioned before, it certainly is not necessary to use all the different aspects of the app. You don't necessarily need the membership. So is this app safe for students? Absolutely yes. It's a very safe app. Class Dojo does not allow any minors to post content or to share publicly. It's all contained in Class Dojo. The student accounts are private and again won't be shared to the public. Data is also not shared for third-party advertising or marketing. There's no advertisements whatsoever displayed, even without the membership. There's no advertisements on Class Dojo, which could be a privacy breach. And there's also a two-factor account protection that is available for Class Dojo as well, so that hacking is less likely to occur. So I would definitely recommend Class Dojo to another teacher. As I said, it has everything one would need for classroom management. It makes it a lot easier, I feel like, than implementing a whole bunch of different strategies. I feel like Class Dojo has it all in one, so teachers are less likely to bounce around with different strategies that might get confusing to students and also could be not as encouraging. When there's one set classroom management strategy like Class Dojo, students, I feel like, are more likely to be invested in it. It also allows for better communication with parents. I think the stories are such a cool thing to add videos and pictures of what the kids are doing in school. Students can also take pride in schoolwork. They're able to see their student accounts as well, and with their portfolios, I think that's great. And students are also going to be more motivated to exude positive behaviors because the more points they get, if they can cash in those points for some prizes, I think that would be really cool. And even having the whole class be able to gain points is really cool too, because it can like enforce teamwork and a community within the class. And so here are my resources. This is basically the source I used for finding how safe the Class Dojo app was, and then this is basically the Class Dojo website. That's how I found out all my information. There was a bunch of info there on how to use Class Dojo and the different features it has. So that is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to hearing all the rest of the class's tech app presentations as well. Thank you.